Uh-oh. I didn't put the waiting chat thing. There we go. Because we're the most professional around here. Let's see. Need to make money. Money is cool. Mid-roll, automatic. I like how it's like you want to schedule it. I'm like, I'm not going to pay that hard of attention. I know some content creators do. Not this one. Hey, Tesla Hey, Humberto. What's the other thing I do? All right, we got share. All right. Sharing the stream. Just go on YouTube. That would help a lot. There's a lot of people that I follow that like that go live like the same time. So one guy I'm still subscribed to. I haven't watched his stuff in probably like 2 years. I still see his live streams pop up. And I just like never unsubscribed. I'm sure that's probably some of the people, like a lot of people that watch us too, to be fair. Oh yeah, but anyways, listen up, Rangers. Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve. Just swapping over my Facebook. So when I share to Facebook, it goes to the actual our page. Did I pay $10.59? Oh, okay. For Pokemon Pocket. I paid somebody money. What is this? Oh, all right. Well, anyways. Let's see. Let's fix the camera just a little bit. This guy's not quite seeing my pajama pants. All right. Let's get that out of the way. All right. So some stuff I did off stream. Ooh, I should have grabbed a light. I wonder if it's too late. I'll go grab a light real quick. All right, hold on. Going back to wait and chat. I gotta move. Wait back. Gotta go steal my light from the tiny. I think my wife stole my chair from upstairs. Oh. Look, I can hear the damn thing going across the floor. It's good times. Okay. Smack the camera a couple times. Trying to line this up in between the mess of wires. And then plug it into the laptop without hitting the other cables. Oh god, which one? Okay, this is the dead one. If I stop talking, then I know I done goofed. So far, we're still talking, so we're still good. Hey, all right, we got a little more lights. But what I did off stream was I sculpted around the mouth. So it's not one solid piece, and then filled it in with epoxy putty. So now he's got closable mouth, and it's all kind of filled in there. I've done a little bit on the hands. I got to do a little bit more to actually lock them in. Because you'll see there's like a little bit of gappage, but I need to tighten up the joint here a little bit more, and I need to do it downstairs because I'm going to have to apply some heat so that I can loosen my ball joint sockets that I made to pop the arms out, and then I can tighten them and put them back in. But before I tighten them, I want to clean them up a little bit. So I'm going to pop them off. I'm going to do the top of the arm. I'm going to try to just do the arms fully today. And then hopefully be able to pop them back into here. And then actually I got to secure those into place too, because we set it up as the ball joint sockets going into the arm. And I also want to wrap up the neck area too. Maybe start on the legs? My only primary concern I have currently is that I don't know if I have enough epoxy putty to get this guy done. Really don't want to have to order some more. At least I'll get a couple of commissions done, then I can order some. Because it doesn't take a crap ton of epoxy, but it's like enough. Alright, got gloves on. Actually, real quick, before we get all started, I'm gonna get a drink real quick. Well, how are you guys doing today? I see we got 2 people watching so far. Appreciate y'all being here. Oh, a couple other things I did off stream. I did a wash over our Pinkzilla and did the spines. So all I really got to do left on this is just do all the touch-up detailing. Maybe clean up the cheeks a little bit. I tried to do a bit of the blush. I don't think it turned out that great looking. So I'm going to have to mess around with it a little more. Hey, Russell. Hey, Georgina. But I was working on that. I also have Zombiezilla hanging out down here too, which I kind of want to work on slightly on the stream too, because I tried to tighten the joint and I think I screwed it up by adding too much glue, not brushing it on. I just kind of popped it in there, was hoping for the best, and I think I did too well of a job. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to try to heat this up, but I want to just heat up around the socket, but I don't want to go too hard because I got to pop this thing off. So just a little bit of heat. Hopefully that'll give me... Okay, we're almost there. Like I need it just to soften up just enough so I can pop this off. Diesel cramming. Okay, maybe I gotta heat that longer than I think I do. The only thing I'm a little concerned about with the shin is he doesn't look very posable. And that's got me a little worried. Oh, that was fun. Alright, next. Okay, I gotta heat this way longer than I thought I did. Oh, it's so hot right here, but did not hit like anything I actually wanted to warm up. There we go. So that's out. Pop that back in there. Like that. And then I'm just going to go like a little bit of epoxy putty. I'm going to try to just squeeze in there in the arms and around the seam, just to make a nice like flush fit. And then I can kind of cut away and sand a little bit as I need to. Is what I'm planning on with these. This one's going to be a little easier to do. This one's a bit more of a flush fit. Okay. Well, I got to get this head off. Okay, that popped up pretty easy. So you'll see here, it's all like 3D filament on the inside. Yeah, it looks like it's just like swappable heads, and maybe the arms can kind of move, and maybe a little bit of the legs. But I can't really see like any of the seam lines on the thing, which is what kind of which worries me. Okay. So I want to fill this in with a little bit of epoxy putty, but just to kind of go around the rim. My only concern is I don't think I filled that in enough with a 3D print pen. You'll see it's kind of a little bit of gaps here and there. That if I go to putty this, it might not sit quite where I want. Actually, that might be good enough. I could probably just stick some foil in. Oh, I don't have any foil down here, but it should be good enough. And then I gotta epoxy these in to stay like right around there. And then there's a couple of bad cuts in the vinyl from when I got it. The epoxy putty will hopefully fix that part too. So we're gonna have to mix up a little bit here. Oh, we got is just some 2-part epoxy putty. I just realized there's way more of you guys talking, and my chat here has not remotely updated. Should I using Procreate Putty? No, I can't say I'd use that. Because I think it's one of the things like working on these guys, I don't really want it to be flexible. I can see certain times of being useful. Honestly, it'd probably be good for making joints if it's a bit flexible, anyways. Yeah, like you said, yeah, it'd probably be pretty good for making actual ball joints. Although, like I said, the print pen did pretty solid. Maybe a little too much. No, probably not enough. At halfway point, we're good. How's everybody's night going? Godzilla's been an old man. I'll be honest, I think the Kiryu is my least favorite of the ones. I kind of like that they look a bit cartoony. Because I want to get the Shin. The only thing that sucks is, like I said, he looks like a statue, so I kind of need to see better pictures. The 2002 looks very comic book esque. So I kind of dig them. The Kiryu is just like okay, like it looks like Kiryu, so like it's weird enough that I'm like not as hyped about it because we already have like a high coin coming like announced and everything too. Granted, we'll probably see that Super 7 way before the Haya, but ooh, I'm just realizing I don't need water. Well, I guess I got the water from the whatchamacallit, probably work. Right, so I was gonna take a little bit of the clay and I guess I'll bring you guys in a little bit. It's a lot of cables here. I have so much extra slack here for this stupid camera. It's always like, I don't want to work. There we go. But right here, I'm just going to take a little bit of the putty and just kind of go around the joint and then push it in. And that should hopefully keep this sort of in place. Especially once it hardens. Oh, fun. What you making a video about? Like I said, I kind of dig the look. The only thing is, the beam is dumb. Like, it's one of those. I almost wish he just didn't come with one. It's like such a sorry excuse for an accessory. He's just shooting a chode out of his mouth. Oh. And then the shin beam is just like completely wrong. It's one of the times like I almost wish there was like less. They came with less, and then I'd be complaining that they didn't come with enough, so they can never win. Okay, the one problem I'm seeing is I left a bit of a hole on the side, so the putty's just kind of like sinking into it. But this should be fine. As long as I can make a seal around here, it'll work. I'm just tacking the putty down into here, getting it away from the joint. The other thing I got to be a little concerned with too is the more clay I put on the top section here, the heavier it's going to be. Like to keep the weight down as much as humanly possible. Just a little dip of water. Just try to smooth this out a little bit. Looks pretty good. A little brush. Brush away some of the excess. Another little dab of water. Work my way around the ball joint. Smooth it out. Now over the side. Yeah, grab hands are cool. It's pretty much I want like open hands, some kind of fist. Grabbing hands are sweet. And for the most part, like beams are cool, but I mainly want beams with things that like if it's gonna have like its atomic blast and whatnot, then I want beams. If they do blue spines, it's like I feel like it should be mandatory. If it doesn't have the blue spines, I'm okay with it not having beams. But that being said, it should still come with some stuff. I'd even just take tanks or something, like some kind of military thing. Well, Super Sevens are just one of those weird things where, like, The way they've been designing them, I almost like. I can kind of understand them not coming with it accessories because to me it's I don't know, they're weird. Like I don't consider them like fully posable action figures, so they almost don't bug me as much as they don't come with as many things. Extra hands and extra heads. Oh, my dog is being good upstairs. What am I gonna do? She's not tormenting my wife. She's cooperating. It's the end of the world. Yeah, they kind of stay right there. Oh, does he have blue in the short? I haven't watched it yet. I have it saved on my watch list. Maybe we could do like a live stream reaction once I get this kind of to be in a good spot for tonight. So right now it's just kind of setting up joints. Okay, so those two are set. Now the fun part is filling in this gigantic void in the neck. What I'd like to do is kind of keep it mostly hollow because I want the neck to keep the full range of posability in here. So I want everything kind of tucked in as much as possible. So I'm just sort of filling in the void, but I don't have to go crazy. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is sanding this guy anyways, once I get this all said and done. I have no idea what my dog's doing upstairs, but she's loud. Probably playing with the cat. But just getting my fingers a little wet. I'm just kind of using the leftover water from my my paintbrushes. It doesn't need to be super clean water. It'll get the job done. But if they did do a blue one, I could see them doing a blue. I'm just going to go around the rim here. Fill in some gaps where I need to. This part, for the most part, isn't going to, like, you're not going to see any of the detailing underneath it. So it just needs to be good enough to just have everything secure. Well, it's always kind of hard with gloves is knowing when my finger is actually wet. Okay, there's a little bit of the filament popping through, but that's fine. The other nice thing about doing this too is if I heat it up, when I go to heat it up to pop the thing back on, the epoxy putty is going to keep it from melting essentially. So I'll be able to pop the neck back on, hopefully without too much problem. And then I'll probably take it and sand it down just a little bit inside. But like I said, it's a section that you're not going to be really seeing too much. So it doesn't need to be the prettiest. It just needs the hold and not shift around. And like what this arm's doing. But this is all I'm going to be really working on this for today. So once I get this situated and stuff's not going to be moving around, we're going to do the neck, and then whatever I got left over, we'll do the arms with. Okay, so that's all filled. And then we got the sockets all set up. Next, doing the same thing in here. I'm going to go around, but I'm going to kind of leave this, try to leave around the circle alone, so when I heat it up, it'll have some space to expand. This ball joint came from a Godzilla tail. These were from some neck pieces from some wrestling figures. And then we 3D printed the ball socket for it to go into. Using a 3D pen. And then just using some epoxy putty to keep it in. Like I said, I gotta leave a little bit of space so that has a little bit of room to flex. So when I heat it up, it'll be able to move enough. Because if I go too hard around it, it won't, like, because the putty's so hard, it won't have any room to flex, and the ball socket's just gonna be a nightmare trying to get back in. Well, if you're interested in making one, you definitely came to the right spot. Though some people might not have like the extra tools that I have to use, like the 3D print pen, but a lot of this could just be, you could just replace this with Gundam joints, or just using, one thing I like to use is like wrestling figures from like bulk bins and what have you, and taking joints from those. So you could just put like a just like shave down a wrestling figure's head, so then it'll fit inside this. You'll have the ball joint from the head, reuse the socket in the neck. There's ways to work around it, sort of like what we did here. The only thing you'll pretty much is, like I would say, is almost a mandatory thing, is you're going to need some epoxy putty, and generally at least some sculpting tools. And just like that. So now once that cures, that'll stay in place. But I got a little bit of space here just so when I heat it up to pop back in, it shouldn't give me too much of a fit. This part, which is the thing that scares me a little bit. Because I'm going to put this in, and this is probably where I'm not going to have that much give afterwards. But I got to get a little bit of putty around here just so that it'll harden with some stuff in there. just to kind of help lock it into place. But you'll see me, I'm kind of just squishing it to flex the vinyl a little bit so I can just push some of this epoxy putty down into the crevices. Try my best to clean up around the filaments because again I'm going to need to heat it up and get it to shift a little bit. But I also might sand it a little bit too, just to clean it up a little bit. Plus it'll help to remove the top layer just a little bit. Oop. That went flying. I think that's pretty good. Maybe use a little bit more right there. And these tools too, you can find it like Hobby Lobby. You can get them on Amazon. But these are like just like little jewelry tools. But they're nice because they have like little ball ends, so they're nice for like detailing or pushing things in. Get a little water. And just go around smoothing this out a little bit. It's like I said, more than likely, I'm probably going to sand this a little bit just to smooth this area out. So it doesn't need to be pretty, but just enough to keep everything secure so that when I go to sand it, it'll hopefully it'll look like one solid piece instead of 3 pieces melting together into one. Well, it's cool that I see that we're getting a movie monster series of the Burning 2000. Which I was kind of expecting, because they did stuff for the last one with the Jet Jaguar. Having the Geigian arms and stuff. The one thing with the epoxy putty too is it will start curing while you're working with it. Generally, with the Aves, I got about an hour before it really starts not wanting to cooperate. Because there'll be a certain point where it just doesn't want to stick to anything anymore. So if you're using it just to like stuff and fill, it'll work okay, but custom burning 2000. Yeah, I need to get like a Bandai vinyl and just like paint it really quick. So I'm trying to think of like another. Oh, actually, if you're going cheap, there's like the old Bandai creations. I don't think it would be too hard to get a hold of. The one with the stubby tail. Yep, just make sure you get it from CaucusToys.com. You save 6% off your order. Code Steve Caucus to checkout. Great, would appreciate it. Link in the description. You're buying your Hi toys. I imagine Hi will probably. Maybe actually maybe I could. Because they already announced two, didn't they? They have the atomic version and the regular. If I'm not mistaken. I got this extra putty out the joint. This one's gonna have a little bit of a problem because it's not gonna give me much flex after I'm done. When I heat it up, I think it'll give me. I should still be able to squish it down, so not too worried about it. Sure, I won't have to do the spines. Okay, now that we have some putty already in here, I just need to use this putty to just kind of fill in gaps. That's really all I'm doing. So this will just be going around, stuffing the clay into the other parts of the finger. Because my first pass was just making the holes for the joints, and then going from there. This pass will be trying to make it look pretty. I was using the back of my nail or back of my finger. I missed a little bit right there. Squish that in there good. Using my finger, just kind of clean up the edges here. Honestly, I think the thing that probably got announced that I'm the most excited about is those Playmates Power Ranger Godzilla figures. Those look sweet. I'm pretty stoked for those things. Especially since one of them is an Angerus. Yeah, there'll always be a need for burning Godzilla 2000 or something. Smooth this out, remove any excess. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Got a little gap there from the cut that I had to do, which I did bring down some glue. Is there a hole in the glue still? Excellent. Okay. Stick that in the middle there. A little bit of glue. Oh, I hit a brush. There we go. Just brush around the hole. I'm going to keep it pinched for just a second, but I'm just using the brush just to smooth out the glue. So that's just not going to leave like a big conglomerate, a big glob of glue there. Cool. So that's set up. We'll do this hand. Because even right now, I can kind of feel it's already a little hard. Giggity. So it's probably not going to be the best for sculpting with anymore. It'd be great if I was already sculpting. I think it was also there was an X Plus burning that they showed off too. I know that's really not too much of our things, but still something kind of cool. I think my least favorite thing they showed off was the MonsterArts Ride -1. We're like, it's the Ride version. I'm like, it's just a repaint of -1. The Ride technically does look a little different. And they thought they could fool us. So this one I also need to glue right there. I'm going to try to shove this epoxy putty in here and try to get this piece glued in real quick. Which I maybe should have done before I... There we go. Okay. You do you. Leave it alone for just a second just so it can harden without me sticking my fingers to it. It's one of those things I'm not too worried about using, like getting some excess on here, because we're just going to be wiping it off anyways once we use some water. It is a cool X Plus though. I do like the burning look with the 2000 suit. I would still say the 2000 suit's still like one of the best Godzilla suits. It was easily my favorite one. I would say middle school, high school Steve loved the 2000 suit. Actually, it wasn't even middle school Steve. It was just strictly high school Steve. Then we matured a little bit more and then realized that the 62 is still just the better suit. Belligerent way. How dare you, sir? So any 70s? So any 70s Godzilla, got it. Although I will say 75 is still one of my favorites too. It's like how pissed off he looks all the time. And the other can did so well at connecting to the arm pieces. This one is, I don't know if I just got because there's more gaps maybe in the knuckle here, but it just has a bit more room to flex, and it's frustrating me. So anytime I go to fix one side, it's just like, next side's messed up. I'm trying to keep clay out of the hole. Granted, I'm more than likely going to have to re-drill the holes anyways, because that's usually what happens. So I got to drill the holes and then re-drill the holes out a little bit, and it's just like a fun little game of drilling the hole out, sticking it in the hole, drilling it back out, sticking it in the hole. Hey, GPTV. So I'd say my current favorite Godzillas, if I had to pick like a top five, would be like 62, Shin, 2000, well, 99. And probably 85 and 75. We're working on Orga. Currently trying to get the fingers sealed. Which I'm at the point where I think I'm just supposed to walk away. Gosh darn. Right here, it's like just not enough putty. Every time I touch it, just like reminding me of this. So I needed to stay on there pretty well because I want to try to hide the seam line as best as possible so that if I go to sand this, it'll be nice and flush, which is what I want. Problem is this arm's getting a little heavy now. And I still have to do these elbows. So I'm just going to call that a day on this one. I'll try to. Oh, that's actually hard. Okay. Can't do much about that one. Remove a little bit of excess clay here and there that I can. But what I'll also do is, like, once it's done, I'll go through the little pokey bit. The arms are going to be an issue regardless. They were going to be heavy. Oh, this is getting kind of tough. What can I use this for? Quickly. I can probably stuff the undersection of this body with this. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Something here. That's what happened. There's a bit of glue right there. I found it. I was like, there's some reason this guy's like stuck a little bit. I need a blade. Oh, a blade. Somehow right there I got a little bit extra glue on the joint. It's like just enough that it's not freed. You know what? This is where this is going to probably come in handy, because if I can get this in there and kind of stuff it a little bit, it'll harden around it and then give me some wiggle room to mess around with it. We're going to try that. I was hoping to get the bend a little better, but right there, fill in this gap a little bit. Just go around loosely. Not touch the joint. Go around loosely. Might not be able to get the front today. Yeah, that's probably pretty good. So I just used the rest of the epoxy putty we have and just stuffed it into there. Into the back here. So that when it hardens, hopefully I'll be able to wiggle the body a little bit better to break that glue seam. But essentially done with what I wanted to today. You got a bit more weight to them. Hopefully not too much. Real quick, want to work on our boy zombie here. And possibly the tail a little bit. Because the tail, two issues I have is I did a little too good of a job sealing around here on the ball joint, and now it doesn't want to flex. So I'm gonna have to sand around it just a little bit to give it a little more breathing room so that that'll be able to pop in. And then I got to do the same thing for here. I got to sand around the joint, and then here I also need to remove some plastic. And then for here, I got to get into that ball joint and remove some glue. So, got this guy here, which that attachment might be good enough for what I want to do here. Try to loosen that glue that I did in there. Okay, well, they pop back on. That one pops off kind of easy. Nope, I might have done too good of a job. This might be a job for the 3D printer, if I'm going to be honest. Anyways, for the most part, the rest of him is all set up. He's got his little guts hanging out now. He's all pretty much sculpted. I just got to get the joints to work a little bit better. Oh, there's something else. Oh, yeah. All right, so we need to change the bit for this guy. Then wrong drawer. I think this is the one I want, but I'm gonna grab this guy out too, just in case. Yeah, that goes on a little better. We're at the point where it stays now. I want a little more of a wiggle to it if I can, but good progress there. Now for the fun one. Yes, filament does not like the sand, it just melts. Hmm. Oh, sounds like Ripley did something upstairs. Oop, that's also loosening. Have a good one, Crazy. Just make my life a little easier, I guess. Okay. Stick that back in there. And like I said, the problem I'm having is it's just not wanting to give me enough room down there. So the other day, what I did was I just used the soldering iron, smooth it out, and I think that's just what I need to do here too. So we're gonna try to plug this in, maybe. And I got a leaning Mecha Godzilla in my way right now. There we go. Let that heat up for a second. Hey, Brace. While I have this out, though. Did that give it enough freedom? Oh, or is that the problem? Nope. Okay, that doesn't flex enough. I don't know what will. There we go. Problem solved. Now I need this piece so that I can do quite a bit more sanding. Well, this is a commission, so I didn't pay for pretty much any of this. It's all just reused parts from figures from the Hammer videos. And then the order was sent in to work on. So I would have like buy the Dremel, which this thing's like 30-ish bucks. depending on what epoxy putty you're using. Those stuff I have is more like $50, 50-ish bucks, but it lasts a long time. Yeah, this guy is not for me. See, sand a little bit. Now he's got a little bit more of a wiggle. This, I think, is hot enough now that I can mess with. We're going to pop that out. And then use the soldering iron to kind of melt this plastic back down. Almost kind of using this thing as like a sculpting tool. Love the smell of burnt plastic in the evening. It's gotta be careful not to damage the vinyl, so I'm kind of keeping this. It's got a bit of a bend to it, so I'm just keeping it at an angle, and then just trying to clean up around the joint without hopefully mucking it up. All right, let's see if that did anything. Well, it attaches, so that's a win. Try to get some of this melted plastic that's around the ball joint away. And then just use this to kind of push it away, help push it away. Need a little more angled there, buddy, so you're not melting my pad. Good. Sits on better. Better. I think now I want to I'm going to mix up just a little bit of epoxy. Since we're here. Wasn't planning on doing more epoxying, but might as well. I will unplug that though, just so I don't forget about it. Ugh. And then we are going to sit it over on my cement floor over yonder. Do you have Beast Force Transformer toys? I actually, we do. Not a ton, but I have some. I got a few of the Masterpiece ones. I got a couple of Generations. We have an OG Megatron and a Dinobot hanging around. We sold a lot of the Transformers off, but I still have like a lot of my, like all my masterpieces are still hanging out. I still need to get a Rhinox. Masterpiece Rhinox would be one I would like to get a hold of. Nice. Didn't really have any of the Transmetal ones. Transmetals was kind of when I got out of Beast Wars. Just personally, I didn't really care for the sculpts for them that much. Did we ever burn the Triceratops? I don't think we did. We haven't burnt too many of the figures. I think I still have the Bakugo's corpse hanging around here that I was planning on possibly at some point making like a little thing diorama. Oh, sculpting tools. So here I'm just using some epoxy putty just to kind of seal this in. Because this will help keep it in place so that it doesn't like want to shift while I'm reassembling it. And give it a little more stability. So then when I go to sand it, probably got to go like a little bit around the ball joint, but right now it attaches, which is what I need. Man, I was just I gotta double check what that video was. I totally forget. Woody is still in random spots. Although Woody ended up in he still hangs out in the attic. As per the lore. I was actually thinking about getting him out for Halloween. I probably should have. Maybe we'll do something with him this month. Since be like maybe some little joke of how he missed the holiday. And now he's out for vengeance. Oh, I got a little dollable epoxy putty. Guess I just put it in here just to reinforce what I did earlier. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Also, I totally forgot to plug the laptop in, so it's getting ready to die here soon. But I think this is enough progress for the stuff I have done for today. Oh, my fingers. Wearing those things for like an hour is like, good times. Haunted Deadzilla zombie. Well, we are working on a Zombiezilla. Rawr. He's got skeleton limbs and everything. I'll probably be working on him a little more tomorrow. So I'm trying to get him and set up so that I can detail paint him and then detail paint the female Zilla, and then they'll be done. I'm ready to go. get shipped out to their new homes. Because I also have the custom Treadmaster Angerus I got to start working on. But I want to get Orga set up before I even mess with that thing. And Orga's probably got another couple of sessions before Orga's done. Because next session I'll be able to do, hopefully, his elbows, get them all prettied up. Elbows, work on the legs, and then get the body relatively finished. Thankfully, his head's pretty much done. Orga's head. Rawr. Looks good. Ugh. So I got some other projects I wouldn't mind getting started on. So I got a couple of gashes in my fingers from work today. My finger can talk right there. It's good times. But anyways, you can help us defeat those kaijus by hitting the like button, subscribe, become a ranger today. We also got Instagram, Patreon, TikTok, Facebook. Guys like keep up to date with the channel, donate. We would appreciate it. If you guys are looking to pick up some high-res figures for yourself, because I'm sure they're going to be announcing some new ones here in the near future. We have a link in the description for CalcusToys.com. You save 6% off your order of Steve Calcus at checkout. And then also the nice thing about them too is if you do order from them, if you're importing it, all the tariff fees are in the shipping costs, so you don't have to worry about paying extra things, which is also really nice. Well, so as I got links for Entertainment Earth, you're buying stateside figures. They're my go-to if you use the free shipping. We also have an Etsy shop. Good way to get a hold of me if you guys want to get some custom stuff done for yourself. We also do accessories. Like I make a Ghostfire Kiryu. This is a head attachment for the MonsterArts. Also, there's a chain backpack if you want that add-on. I also make custom little flame effects. Favorite Pacific Rim kaiju? Knifehead. Knifehead's always been my favorite. It's just I love the introduction for him. I always thought it was really sweet. Then probably Otachi. I think Leatherback's probably my least favorite out the bunch. Actually, probably Mutavore. I think Mutavore is kind of lame. Cool design, but just plain kaiju overall. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one.